Hi guys, I'm back with another video. Um, and this one is a Reddit one. This one is a school edition one. If any of you guys are going to school or going back to school, how are you feeling about that? Because I'm definitely not excited. But maybe you are. But yeah, I'm not. Like, no. I'm fighting for my life. Um, but yeah, we're gonna get started. I wrote down all these stories I'm gonna be doing. I'm doing four. I wrote them down on paper because I couldn't figure out how to get like it on screen so you guys could see it. But here is the first one, and it's by r/am I the a-hole. It says, am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she can't go to her dream school but paying for my son to go to his? This person is 49 years old. They're male. They have two children. One name one is named Jake. He's 23. The other is named Nikki. She's 17. And this person is divorced. They have full custody of the kids. Um, Jake wants to go to his dream school, but he has no scholarships. The other grad school he wants to go to is one of the best schools in the country. So the father pays for his tuition and living expenses, which is about $50,000 a year. He pays for his dentist's degree. And as for Nikki, she's a senior in high school. She has a low chance of a scholarship. And the dream school she wants to go to is also a good one, but for tuition and living expenses, it'd be about $75,000 a year. She wants to major in education. She specifically wants to be a middle school teacher, and the salary for that in the area would be about $48,000 to $60,000. But there's a problem with this because the father doesn't see a middle school teacher making six figures. He doesn't see this as a good investment. Um and so ultimately Nikki accuses the dad of favoring Jake, and that is the first one. Um Sorry guys, I've been saying a lot, but what I think is that ultimately the dad is in the wrong. Because even if he doesn't see it as a good investment, if this is something she's passionate about, this is something she cares about, he shouldn't have a problem supporting her in that. Because he's supported Jake, and I understand that he wants to be a dentist and she wants to be an educator. She wants to be a middle school teacher. But you can't just support one child and not support the other one. Um, so it is a little bit difficult, but I do ultimately feel like he should also be helping out, helping out his daughter. So, yeah. We could get on to the second one now. This is our story two. It's by r/am I the a-hole. It says, am I the a-hole for ripping up the application in front of the parents and telling them to get out of my school? So this Reddit user owns a preschool/daycare. Um, the little boy that's gonna be going to this preschool, his name's Dave. He's 3 years old. He was supposed to start on Monday, but on the Friday, on Friday, his parents asked if they could stop by with him so he could get to know his classmates before his first day. The time that they were going to stop by was during the extended hours. So they had four kids and one teacher that was there. It was a young woman by the name of Natalie. She was 19 years old. So the Reddit user texted Natalie that Dave and the parents joining would be joining them, and that they would be there ASAP to talk to the parents. Natalie was inside being yelled at when this Reddit user walked in. She was being screamed at by the little boy's father because she had some show or movie on, and they said that the son wasn't allowed to watch any of that stuff, like to watch like movies and shows. But Natalie said no, that she would not turn it off because the other kids did enjoy it. And so, yeah, so the father started yelling at her about it and apparently had her like pinned up against the wall, which this is crazy. When I read this, I'm like, is this real? Like, not that crazy things like this can't happen, but if this is real, this is just wild. So what ends up happening, like, with the user, with the person that owns the daycare, they end up ripping up Dave's paperwork and told the dad to get him and the family off the property, and ended up calling the police because even though Natalie was okay, she had some bruises on her. And then even after this, Dave's parents were blasting the daycare on parenting groups and on the reviews for the daycare. So that one's crazy. I don't think the Reddit user is the a-hole. I think they were totally justified, especially to call the police. Like, the dad assaulted Natalie. Like, that's not okay. You can't do that. And I'm glad that she did call the police and took the measures to be safe. In the heat of the moment, I understand why she would rip up the papers and be like, get out of here, because what the dad was doing wasn't okay. Of course, the little boy was not at fault. He didn't do anything. He didn't have any role in what his father was doing. But I do think that this Reddit user was justified. And I dropped my paper on the floor. So we're on to story 3. This next one was by u/nojob7202. This one says, am I the a-hole for proving to my boyfriend that the nerds never cared about the popular kids in high school? So this person's boyfriend is 25 years old, and they both went to the same high school. So the boyfriend was talking about how he thought the Reddit user in high school would be thrilled to date the popular guy because she was a nerd. The Reddit user thinks he's joking and realizes that he's not joking. And when she realizes that he isn't joking, she tells him she didn't even know he existed. She tells him that she didn't even know who he was. And so he tells her that he played football and that he was just really popular, so she must be lying. So she tells him that the nerds never cared about the popular kids in high school because they were too busy competing amongst themselves for college admissions. And for more of a backstory, she moved to the town at 13 with other like high achieving children because there was an engineering company that opened up a branch near the town and it brought a whole bunch of engineers and their families to that town. So she tells him that students like her only really had the time to think about college, not sports. Especially her, like she was just focused on that academic side. She didn't feel like she had the time to really be into sports to do all that. Um but her boyfriend ultimately says that she's lying. That she's lying. So she reached out to some of her high school friends and they said, well, she asked them about it, and they said they didn't even know any of the popular kids. So the boyfriend claims that she humiliated him, which in this one, I don't think, I think she was justified completely. This is a complete justification here because of the way he was acting. It was very rude because it was kind of like he kind of like was like putting her down. Well, not kind of, he was putting her down, like, oh, I was popular and like, oh, you would be lucky for me to like you. Or that's just, that's not right. Like if high school you saw that I was dating you, you would have thought you were lucky, or you would have been like, oh, you know, crazy about it. And it's just like, that's not right, because that's just not fair to her. And to call her a nerd too, it's just, that's that's not right at all. So yeah, she stood up for herself. She she stood up for herself. And the thing is, while I was reading this story, she did mention how she didn't say these things like in a malicious way. Like she wasn't trying to be rude or hurt his feelings by being like, "Oh, we didn't even know who you were," or "I didn't even know who you were." Um, and even if she was trying to be malicious with it or intentionally was trying to like hurt his feelings, she would have been justified because he was not being very nice with that statement. So, yeah, I think what she did was justified. And when he claimed that she humiliated him, I really think that it's the other way around. I think he humiliated himself with the way he was acting. So, yeah. And we are finally on to Reddit story number 4. And this one's by r/am I the a-hole. It says, "Am I the a-hole for forcing my daughter's school to change the rules?" So this person's daughter is a 17-year-old female who goes by the name of Clem. The school had recently changed its policy on phones. So the new policy is that the school will be able to keep the phone for 4 days, and then the guardian would have to come and collect it after school. But the guardians were not even aware of this policy. The school didn't tell them. They didn't tell the parents or anybody. Um, They live, this is going to be relevant. This is going to be relevant in a second. They live an hour and 30 minutes away from the school. And one day, the daughter comes home late and said she had to walk home instead of taking the bus like she usually does because the school had taken her phone and the bus ticket was on her phone and they didn't accept like they weren't taking money. Like so she had to walk home. She had to walk all that way back home. So the daughter tells this Reddit user why she got her phone taken away in the first place, and it was because she was checking texts in the restroom, and a female teacher confiscated it because she was in a quote unquote no phone area. The same night, this parent contacted her school and set up a meeting with the head of the school. The head of the school said that the school realized taking phones for the day wasn't a big enough deterrent. So now they were deciding to take the phones for 4 days. This Reddit user said that they had no problem with taking the phone in school, but that they had a problem with them keeping it past the school hours, past the school time. And after some arguing, the head of the school ended up agreeing. But the reason why the Reddit user was asking, "Am I the a-hole?" is because at the end of the day, the dad or the husband said that Clem walking home, having to walk home, was basically justified as a punishment, that was okay, that was a punishment for what she was doing at school. This one is very clear, at least for me. This person was justified in everything they did. I love that they tried to advocate for their daughter and advocate for the other students, like towards the head of the school, and be like, it's not okay to take phones after hours, which it isn't. That's not okay at all. Like that's crazy. That's craziness. Like that's a huge safety issue. Um so yeah, like that's a big safety issue. And as for the the dad, I don't really agree with his take that that was okay because like she had to walk an hour and 30 minutes home. Something like, what if something happened to her? And that's just a really long walk. That's a long and tiring walk that she shouldn't have had to do. Especially like if we even go back to why she got her phone taken, I don't think it's that serious. Like, okay, she shouldn't have had her phone, but it's not serious to the point of where walking home for an hour and 30 minutes with a possibility of some danger is justified. I don't agree with that. But yeah, that concludes our Reddit stories and this video. So let me know in the comments what you think, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.